Since its debut in 1996, the Resident Evil series has given us some truly awesome moments. From Cerberus's crashing through windows, to Tyrant fights in airplanes, to Nemesis's killing Brads. The series has also given us some less than stellar moments too, but in comparison, these are few and far between. So with that, let's look at, in no particular order, 10 awesome moments in the Resident Evil series. Number 1. First zombie encounter. Resident Evil 1, the original. What better place to kick off the list than with the game that started it all? After taking refuge in the mansion, you leave your team to go and investigate the sound of a gunshot. After making your way through the vast dining room, where the only sounds are the echoes of a ticking grandfather clock and your footsteps, you go through a door and round a corner. You're then treated to the iconic cutscene of someone chowing down on Kenneth from the Bravo team. As the figure turns around, their decaying face and blank expression tells you everything you need to know. Unfortunately, when it was released here in Europe along with the US, we received a censored version of this compared to the uncut Japanese version, in which you see Kenneth's decapitated head fall to the ground. This iconic scene was present in the remake, with better graphics and a more gruesome looking zombie, but for me personally, I prefer this version, as I think the blank expression on the zombie's face is just that little bit more unsettling. Number 2. Steve saves Claire from the Bandersnatch. Resident Evil Code Veronica. If we were to make a list of our favourite Resident Evil characters, let's be honest, poor Steve Burnside would struggle to make it into the top 10. Coming across as a whiny, angsty, pound shop Leonardo DiCaprio and a poor man's Leon S. Kennedy, Steve does, however, have a few moments of redemption, one being saving Claire from having her head crushed by a Bandersnatch. Bursting out of a random window, doing his best bullet time impression, the camera tracks Steve as he falls through the air, lands on his feet, and after emptying both gold Lugers into said Bandersnatch, finishes it off with one final shot. However, Steve, true to form, can't just leave it at that, and has to ruin the moment by saying,
"Oh yeah, that felt good. Don't worry, Claire. Your knight in shining armor is here."
This is why not many people, myself included, were all that sad when he died. Although he did save Claire again.
I love you.
Whoa, steady on, son. Number 3. Zombie Arms. Resident Evil 2. As you make your way around the Raccoon City Police Department, the devastation of the zombie virus outbreak is clear to see. Making your way down one of the corridors, you see that the windows have been boarded up. However, these only provide little protection, as when you pass by them, zombie arms burst out from in between the boards and try and grab you, accompanied by groans from the zombies outside. These 2 jump scares were particularly effective, as they do not happen the first time you pass down the corridor, thus luring you into a false sense of security. It's as you're making your way back up that they burst out to grab you, completely catching you off guard. Number 4. Village Square Siege. Resident Evil 4. By the time you reach the village square in Resident Evil 4, it's already clear that the locals are not friendly. This is further confirmed when you witness one of the police officers you met at the start of the game getting burnt alive in the centre of the square. Despite your best efforts and stealthy skills, it's not long before you're found and the whole village is after you. Things only intensify when the chainsaw-wielding Dr. Salvador joins the locals in hunting you down, and you're forced to keep moving, scavenge supplies, and stay alive until the church bells ring, summoning the villagers. This is a great, tense moment that really gets the adrenaline flowing.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Number 5. Crimson Heads. Resident Evil 1 Remake. The Resident Evil 1 Remake took everything you thought you knew about the first game and threw in a few surprises. Chief of which were the Crimson Heads, a mutated form of zombie that occurs when you don't properly dispatch a zombie either by burning it or decapitation. This results in a much faster, tougher and more ferocious kind of zombie that can inflict more damage than a regular one. What makes these enemies particularly scary and memorable is how they'll suddenly rise to their feet as you pass by them, before then chasing you at speed. Or if you enter a room, all you can hear are their squelching footsteps moving at speed before they suddenly appear on screen and start slashing away at you. Number 6. Nemesis, Resident Evil 3. As we all know, Resident Evil 3 introduced us to Nemesis. No, not that one. A towering behemoth of an umbrella product that you spend the game running away from or fending off against, depending how brave you're feeling. Nemesis's relentless pursuit of you creates a constant feeling of dread as you make your way through Raccoon City and the RPD as you try to escape. When he finds you, and he will, he charges at you at speed, and if you're not quick enough on the trigger or at dodging to get through the door, he'll inflict some serious damage on you. And don't think that just because you make it through the door that you're safe, as not even doors or even windows can stop him. And you'll soon find yourself on the receiving end of either his fist or his rocket launcher. It's just a shame that they couldn't have recreated this sense of fear and dread in the remake. Number 7. The Licker, Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2, as well as being the best game in the series,
Wait! Don't shoot!
Get down!
also introduced many new characters and enemies. One of those, which is still a firm fan favourite today, is the Licker. These mutated zombies make their first appearance as you make your way towards the press conference room, where you're treated to a cutscene revealing the Licker to you in all its grotesque, ceiling climbing, drooling glory. And with just your handgun at this stage in the game, you're left really with no option but to run. But as you progress through the game and build your arsenal, you are able to take them on. But you just need to make sure that your shots count, as their leaping attacks and razor sharp tongues inflict some serious damage. That, coupled with the tension created by the sound of their creepy, raspy breathing, makes the Licker a memorable enemy not to be underestimated. Number 8. Stalker X, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Take the pants-soiling fear and anxiety caused by being relentlessly pursued by Nemesis in the original Resident Evil 3, turn it up to 11 and you have Mr. X, aka T-00. From the second he makes himself known by casually lifting the wreckage of a helicopter out of the way with one hand, this fedora-wearing giant is unwavering in his pursuit of you as he relentlessly stalks you all over the RPD and beyond. Doing anything that creates any kind of loud noise, such as running, firing your weapon or completing certain puzzles, will alert him to your location, and hearing the sound of his thunderous footsteps gradually getting louder as he searches for you is hands down one of the most tense and pants-soiling moments of any Resident Evil game. Again, it's just a shame they couldn't have built on this with Nemesis in the Resident Evil 3 remake. Number 9. Lkan Attack, Resident Evil 8. At the start of Resident Evil 8, you find yourself making your way through the decimated ruins of a village at the foot of Castle Dimitrescu, all the while feeling that you're not alone. After a kind villager gives you a gun, you're then thrown into a cat and mouse game as a horde of Lycans descend on the village to hunt you down. Barricading yourself indoors offers little defence, and finding a shotgun while increasing your firepower only seems to exacerbate matters. Underpowered and outnumbered, all you can do is keep moving, gather resources and get as many shots in as and when you can. Similar to the village siege in Resident Evil 4, this is a fast-paced, pulse-pounding introduction to the game. Number 10. Hunks cutscene, Resident Evil 2. While making your way through the sewer facility in Resident Evil 2, you meet Annette Birkin, who tells you the story of how her husband and the majority of Raccoon City came to be infected with the G-Virus. This is done via a glorious 2.5 minute cutscene which follows 4 Umbrella Special Ops members as they attempt to steal the G-Virus from its creator, William Birkin. Thanks to a sudden noise and a trigger-happy soldier, William is gunned down and uses the sample on himself before then proceeding to hunt down and dispatch the Special Ops team. What makes the scene so good is how the tension builds until Birkin is shot, and then how the action intensifies as he picks off the soldiers one by one. Another great aspect is that you hardly see Birkin in his mutant form in this cutscene, just a very brief shot. This, coupled with the brilliant music and overall great direction, make this a standout moment in Resident Evil 2 and the series. The scene also explains how Raccoon City came to be infected, as the scene fades out on rats feeding on the smashed files of the G-Virus. The remake went for a more modern approach, adopting a bodycam FPS perspective from soldier Jay Martinez, which, although doing the job narratively, I still personally preferred the original version, but that's just me. And there we have 10 awesome moments in the Resident Evil series. Obviously there are plenty more moments that didn't get mentioned, so maybe I'll include these in another list. But in the meantime, if you can just let me know your favourite awesome moments in the Resident Evil series in the comments below, and until next time, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again.
Welcome to the family, son.